Before we begin the second part of this exercise, let's get a good understanding of some of the rules for the layout of photographs whenever you have an article. So we'll use this as our blank template article. If someone gives you a photograph, there's a couple of things to know about using this photograph. First off, make sure that whatever's the main focal interest is always inside of your picture. You never want to crop off any important details like a person's head or the place where they're at, or make it ambiguous, or even stretch it out or distort your image. Always get the best quality possible. Second, every photograph needs to have some sort of cut line. This cut line is a bit of text that describes what's going on in the image. If you ever have to write one, simply answer the questions of who, what, when, where, and why of the photograph. Now, when you lay out a photograph inside of an article, there's three main shape names that I tend to recall these by. First off, there's the L shape, where the photograph is in the top right-hand corner and the article is flowing around it in the shape of an L. There's also a U shape, where the article or the photograph is in the top center of the article. And then finally, there's the raw wrap. So this is an L shape that has the title, instead of going all the way across, it's wrapped around the left-hand side of it. The purpose of each of these three is so that the article flows and it reads naturally for the reader. It also keeps away from any distractions from the other articles that may be around your page. Now, there's some definite no-nos and some taboos when laying out a photograph in your article. The first major problem that a lot of students run into is that they don't keep the photograph inside of their column structure. Your photos should never bleed into another area of your column. You always want to keep it nice and tight inside the width of whatever column you have, and then you can make the depth whatever is necessary for the photograph. Also, you never want to lead a story with a photograph. By this, I mean placing the photograph immediately above the start of an article or between the headline and the start of the article. This is because if I was to read this, it's a little ambiguous about where the article may begin. Does it start down here, or does it start up here and towards the center? And so you always want to make it easy for the reader to know where to start and how to flow their eye as they read the photograph. Here's another common problem: having to jump over the photograph to finish reading the article. This simply disrupts the natural eye flow of reading the article, simply because you read the first column, go to the second, and then jump over it, and then go to the third and have to jump over this. Now, you can get away with things like this in a magazine, because on a magazine, each of the articles and photographs are generally dealing with one topic. But in a newspaper, you've got a lot of different articles on the same page. So make sure that it's easy to read all of them. Now, if you're given two different photographs, you'll also have two different cut lines to go with it as well. And all the rules that we talk about apply to both double photographs as well as single photographs. Whenever you place two photographs in an article, naturally you'll want to position them together. And this works best because your eye can flow between the two pictures and also have the text flow around them. So try to keep them close together. But the main thing to remember about using two photographs is that one of them needs to be larger or more dominant than the other. If you have two photographs that are about the same size or the same weight, then your eye is kind of competing for which one is most dominant or which one's most important. However, if you'll make one of them larger or take up more room and let the other one be a little bit smaller, this is a little bit more visually appealing, and it also gives you a little bit more space for your article. So make sure one of them is nice and larger compared to the others. Notice that they're still inside of the column structure of your article. This works well if you even go over 3 columns and 2 columns below. You can have the photographs side by side, and you can even have the photographs in a U shape. All of those are common and most likely used. The final thing to know about the layout is the placement of the cut line. These are the three most common places you'll find the cut lines. The first off, they'll be below the photograph, or they'll be on the left or the right-hand side of the photograph. Now, when it's on the left or the right, sometimes you'll see it higher or slightly lower, but you'll almost never see a cut line above a photograph. That's usually where the headline or body copy should go. Okay, so with these fundamentals set down, now let's jump in and go to the second part of this exercise.